Hi Pisces, this is your forecast for the month of March 2019. This is a general reading for Pisces Sun, Pisces Rising, or Pisces Moon. For a more rounded overview, please watch your rising and moon sign as well. So Pisces, you start the month off with fire energy. This could be in Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this page are important. For some of you, there's a connection to a young person, but for others of you, there's some kind of message that you get. Could be something exciting. Could be you feel optimistic. There's a gear toward future-oriented information. Now, you may be promoting optimism, or others may be doing that for you. This is about being creative, finding yourself in stimulating situations. So you may be doing something creative or inspirational. You may be selling something, marketing, promoting. Or you could be involved with people who do such things. Some of you, this is about performing, speaking, learning something new, meeting new people, and you could be acting as a teacher or connecting to someone. So there's something unexpected about this week where the energy is directed toward the future, some possibilities that are going to require you to take some action. Could be some new ideas that you have, a new attitude that you're taking on. Maybe you find yourself in some kind of educational situation. Negatively, this could be getting involved in some kind of small rivalry or doing something unprecedented or dealing with some selfish inclinations. It could be somebody who is craving attention, or you may find that there's somebody who is speaking negatively about you. Maybe somebody's insensitive or somebody trying to dominate you. Somebody who wants to be the center of attention. They're a prima donna, maybe they're a show-off, or you're dealing with somebody who can't keep a secret, or they can't be trusted, or maybe they're conflicted in some way. But for many of you, this is a week of making some small changes that have a big impact for the future with regard to your relationships, how you relate socially, your attitude, the environment. And for some of you, that means some kind of invitation, perhaps to take a short trip or to attend something that's important, some kind of small gathering where you're the spotlight, you're the focus, and your social skills, your magnetism are highlighted. And perhaps maybe you thought you were rusty in that area and you are better than you first expected. So it may be something, serendipitous. You're taking some action tied to hopes and dreams, and whatever you do may surpass your initial expectations. There could be an unexpected gift or an opportunity. But in other cases, if you're dealing with, energy that's burning without a direction, or maybe, some fears or obsession about a negative or possible event in the works, you may feel that something you're doing, you need to change course. In fact, you may feel that some of your connections have changed in small ways that are inexplicable. Something's different. Maybe you can't quite pinpoint what it is when you arrived at this crossroads, but something about your relationship is making you feel uncomfortable. Could be you're involved with somebody who's just not capable of committing to a relationship or focusing on the future. Maybe even you are complacent in some way, or maybe there are issues connected to being irresponsible or immature, or something you're doing you're just not interested anymore. There's a lack of passion, of motivation, and now you feel like you're stagnating. So again, it could be some unreliable circumstances this week that you have to deal with where you need to take some type of action. The second week, you have this Eight of Swords. So you may feel trapped, as if you're caught in some kind of vice. You're motivated to move forward, and yet maybe you can't come up with any ideas, or you're in a confining situation. For some of you, this may represent an office or a small space, or maybe you work in a cubicle, or spaces like garages, storage, boxes, post office boxes may be important. Whatever it is, there's a confining feeling where you maybe want to break free of some kind of restraints. Maybe you want to escape something where you feel trapped or powerless. It could be that, if you're dealing with domineering people or people who are selfish, you're in some kind of oppressive situation. And maybe you're not asserting yourself the way you need to. For some of you, maybe you don't even have the energy or drive anymore, again, or you can't come up with any ideas. There's a mental blockage. So you may be holding yourself back in some way because you can't find resolution to something. Could be that you're not trusting your intuition, you're blinded by the facts, you don't have enough information, or you simply are in a situation where your hands are tied behind your back. So something is hindering your progress. And it's either that you're sick, or you don't have energy, or you're self-sabotaging, or someone is imposing on you. So this is a week where you may be focused on overcoming some kind of fear, unblocking, breaking free, getting rid of some kind of obstruction where you can restore your productivity. However, this is also a week where, things are not going to play out as you expect. You could be getting some extra work, some extra responsibilities, some news, from that Page of Wands that lands in your lap. It upsets your day or your priorities or your agenda, and you have to make some changes because you're momentarily bound to a situation that is beyond your control. This was something you didn't see coming, and perhaps there was something that you thought was resolved, and it shows up for you to have to deal with it. And it's probably going to come out as some kind of frustration for you, although it may be, passing. You may be irritated because somebody waited too late or waited too long, or maybe you yourself were procrastinating and you put something off, you didn't get proper notification, or you didn't take action when you should have. Some of you may be looking at ways where you are blocked, exploring your own psyche, your inner voice, or perhaps listening to your spirit guide. So paying attention to your intuition is going to be important. There may be a need to seek direction. Again, it could be that you or someone close to you waited too long to attend to something. It could be health-oriented, personal in matter, professional, and you didn't see this coming, and you're having to expend more effort, more energy, more time than you had anticipated trying to get things back on track. For some of you, the Page of Wands is very ardent in some pursuit, whether it's some objective or relationship, and you may be a willing prisoner of some sort because your thinking is very narrow, or you're very passionate about your stance. And again, you could have created the trap for yourself by only focusing on the here and now without an eye toward the future or tomorrow. So you may have to work harder to get things back on track, or to, not feel overwhelmed by a situation that you couldn't prevent or control. Now, the third week, you have a major card. So this is an important week for you. You may be wrapping something up where you had felt trapped. For some of you, maybe you're traveling, or you're dealing with foreign affairs. Maybe this is an office overseas, or you're dealing with people who are foreign or very different from you. So you want to reach a goal where perhaps you have been blocked in the past. So you're taking stock of something. You've put in that effort. You've come full circle. You've learned a lot of lessons along the way, and you may be at the point this week of reaching that goal because you did a good job. You feel some kind of success, or some of you, maybe you have felt some restriction, some inhibited energy, and you're focusing on your physical and emotional health. Whatever your circumstances are, you're seeking that best possible outcome. It could be that you've closed out one chapter of your life and you're entering a new one. So some of you are changing your job or changing your residence. Maybe something was too small or confining, and you are focused on the limitations, things that are constricting. It could be that, somebody tried to lay something, at your feet, and it's about you looking at your capability to say no, looking at what is beyond your ability. But in many cases, you want to expand your horizons beyond that small space. So again, this is taking stock of something and a fresh start. So there may be a second chance that you're motivated to get past a confining situation. You're thinking about the bad habits, the emotional codependencies, the things that you do, the way that you think that is self-sabotaging for you. And this third week is a great time to start something new, like changing your attitude, or perhaps, taking better care of your health, starting a health regimen, eating better food, exercising, a new job if that's what's necessary, or making some changes in your relationship. Part of that will be taking stock of where things went wrong, or where people maybe have imposed on you, and even so having greater compassion, offering your forgiveness, and forgiving yourself so that you can break free of these blockages. This is a week of being a self-starter, and it's possible that one or more fortunate business, social, or romantic connections or opportunities are now headed your way. And because you've worked through some issues that were blocking you, you'll be able to uphold any new resolutions that you've created, that you put in place so that you can enjoy life better. Especially if you're feeling good about yourself, where you're headed, what you're doing. You're able to break free of some kind of prison. You can coerce opponents, achieve goals, and do it in a peaceful way. Do it with compassion. Do it with integrity, humanity. You are coaxing opportunity to you by being your highest self. And for some of you, those areas where you were blocked last week, whatever it might have been, medically, legally, or otherwise, you may be able to make great strides right now and accomplish something. Others of you, this is going to be a week of dealing with unfinished business. You are blocked. You can't quite complete a cycle, and it may be frustrating for you. You seem to be meeting with obstacle after obstacle, having to tend to loose ends. Everything is on hold pending completion. So you may feel like you're stuck in a rut. Again, you may have to address issues where there's been a lack of commitment, where maybe you didn't follow through on something, or you're quitting too soon. It could be that you have a fear of change, or you're not willing to face the future. There's some resistance. Or maybe at the end of the day, you got an unsatisfactory outcome to something. There could be some kind of postponement, or you working through issues of insecurity, or realizing that you're not quite there yet. There's still a little bit road to travel. You have to be careful this week of, investing in things, but not really putting your heart in it. You're going through the motions, but the intention is not there. Because if you started for the wrong reason, in spite of your efforts, it's not really going to take off for you. And this is a week about limitations, knowing when to say no. Perhaps you're tempted to overextend yourself in some way. Your time, your energy, your money. You overstep some emotional boundaries, or somebody steps on your toes. This is about, trying to perhaps take a shortcut, being too risky or too daring or too devious in your approach, and making other people feel uncomfortable in the process. So this is about maintaining that enthusiasm that may have sparked with that Page of Wands, but also keeping that world view, setting some realistic goals that make you feel more alive. And again, it may have to do with being more tolerant, not confining or restricting yourself to a certain direction of thought. You may be dealing with people who are very different from yourself, and it may be worth opening up to what they have to offer. You will definitely have a spiritual awakening of some sort this week. Maybe your goal is to connect to nature or humanity, or recognize spirit in your life. In other cases, there's a need to be realistic, to get some grounding. Now, the last week you have this Two of Wands. And so for some of you, you are looking at perhaps the world. Again, it could be you're dealing with something international, the world at large, the internet, things at a distance. You may have the world in your hands. You've reached a certain point, but now you want to go beyond that. You know that there's something bigger and better out there. You could expand yourself a little bit more. So some of you may be involved in some form of negotiations. Maybe you're waiting for an answer with regard to something. It could be joining alliances with others, or some enterprise that you've started. So for some of you, this is about travel. So you're looking beyond the here and now. And this is a week where you have to be in control, because either you will or others will. So this is about having your vision, seeing that big picture, and using your personal power, skills, and strengths to move forward, having the boldness to assert yourself and take a healthy risk. You may have to be original, or you may be in a waiting period where you're examining some opportunities. This is a week to be realistic, to consider all of the facts, to be practical rather than, paint a picture in broad brushstrokes. This is not the time for idealism. This is about acting on the facts, acting on your instincts, your gut check. And something is going to happen at work, at home, or both, where you get the opportunity to make some changes. Maybe there's something offered and you have the opportunity to accept it or consider it. And if you turn it down, that's okay too. It could be that you want to drive a point home to somebody. You want to make them understand something. Or again, there's a job opportunity or travel, or you want to remove yourself from a situation that you find negative. This is a week where you're looking at what your attachment is. How much have you invested in something? And that's either going to increase or decrease. Now, you may be doing this review while you're alone. You may be seeking some kind of sanctuary, or you're trying to re-energize yourself. You are mulling some things over, maybe a contract, a chance, but you're also looking at perhaps where you felt some claustrophobia due to those confining situations where you may have been dominated, or negotiations failed, or something was postponed. And it could be driven by your doubts. If you're procrastinating because you really don't believe in your own abilities, or simply because you're meeting some resistance from other people, you're not getting the support you think you need, that indecision, that hesitation, is making you vulnerable. Other people are going to step in and try to intimidate or manipulate you, and you're going to regret that you didn't trust yourself. But before you make that move, it is important to do the groundwork. What are the facts? Are the I's dotted, the T's crossed? Make sure everything is in order before you make a decision or before you raise any hell, because you could be making some decisions based on assumptions rather than the facts. Now, if this is a health issue where you haven't felt the best, you're not up to par, this could be a week where you need to consider rest and withdrawal. You may need to withdraw from the world. But in the best possible light, this is about doing some kind of review of opportunity where your gut instincts will give you the boldness to move forward with something. Now, the underlying energy is the Six of Wands, and this is about achieving a victory, getting some acclaim, being in the limelight for something that you're doing. So you may very well reach that goal. There's a breakthrough, and you feel exalted by that, or exonerated in some cases. It's the culmination of your effort, and something is going to happen that makes you feel like, yes, I'm on the right track, I'm making progress, some good news is motivational, I can move forward. This can very well be a month of victory, but victory that comes with the help of a resourceful network. Something at work or home is going to open up some unexpected opportunities for you to shine. Whatever your strengths are, if you're an original thinker, a great speaker, a leader, simply a good friend, your best traits are going to be on display. And you're going to be coming in contact with people that can help you and who can advance your interests. So you could achieve any number of victories this month by simply getting help and extending your assistance to make a situation move quickly. So there could be cause for celebration, some good news, some open doorways, and again, the possibility of travel. But for those of you who are resistant, you're stuck in a narrow way of thinking, it may be difficult for you to accept assistance or advice or suggestions that could improve things. And you're going to find that you're blocking your own enjoyment of a situation. It's also where you have to be careful of anywhere that there's an abuse of power, lording power over others, using your charisma and charm as a tool for exploitation. For some of you, you're going to make some gains, but they may not be what you had hoped. Either they're going to be delayed or they're not as large. If this is a health issue, there's a recognition that perhaps you need to focus more on yourself. There's an emphasis on movement, on exercise. Now, this is going to be a month driven by change, and you're going to have the opportunity to get some clarity, to improve your circumstances, and to repair, if that's what's necessary, some aspect of your life related to work, to health, or your domestic affairs. And you're also looking at, again, where you're attached, where you're invested, what you're putting in, what you're getting out. Your challenge is the wands, your drive, your ambition, your motivation, your desire. And the challenge number is also 8. So it ties to your long-range plans, your future, your destiny, and the people that influence and impact that. So you're going to need to make some choices and work diligently to overcome some uncertainty. Your judgment and your dedication is being tested, as well as your trust in self and your trust in others. You have one major card, the World card. So this is about being enthusiastic, but also realistic, not being impractical. Something about your situation, though, lacks some sensitivity. It could be that somebody's insensitive, could be there's a lack of emotion, there's some coldness in circumstances, or it could be that, logic is going to rule the day. There's also, besides this World card, a lack of stability. There's nothing that's firm or solid or established. And it could be because somebody's impractical or because there's some details that are still being worked out. There are a lot of wands in this reading, so movement, but it could be rash or impetuous behavior. So there's something that you're looking at, some kind of discussions, negotiations. Maybe somebody's trying to seize the opportunity. Maybe they, seize it from up under you, or you them. It could be you're involved in some kind of transaction or commerce that's important with an eye toward the future. But you have to make sure that you're, again, taking care of whatever is in the here and now that's going to lead to that future that you want. So something about your situation, you have to be very focused on the details, and timing is critical. There's some antagonism toward getting something moving, and somebody may feel bullied. There's some pressure to make some decisions that somebody doesn't want to make. It could be a situation where people's feelings are not being considered. And in spite of the pressure, somebody's trying to hold fast to their conviction, but there's a high price to pay emotionally for doing that. It could be that somebody's choosing to stay in an abusive situation, or they meet a challenge, they pass a test, they do all that's necessary, they go to the very end and realize that those efforts were worthless. Now let's take a look at your money card. You have gold digger, and excessive focus on the material results in spiritual bankruptcy. Make sure that intentions are pure. Now that's an interesting card. And it's driven by gratitude. Wealth and prosperity take many forms. This is a time to appreciate blessings, both great and small. Your measure of abundance depends on a sense of gratitude. So you may be looking at the motives, either of yourself or people that you're involved with that impact you financially. Are these people that have true gratitude, or they're just in it for something? So you'll have to examine that. This gold digger card, interestingly enough, also shows up when people are searching for that grain of truth, that wisdom. And you may have gratitude that some kind of information that proves to be golden arrives for you and creates some kind of change. Now let's take a look at your love card. You have new love. Well, that's exciting. So there's some kind of new love that's in the works or on its way. Could be a new relationship on the immediate horizon. Maybe you're in the beginning stages of it. Maybe you're in the courtship process, or there's the potential for meeting a new partner. Could be somebody that's very attractive. Maybe this person is foreign. Maybe they're wealthy. And you also have explore. So you may be exploring new love, or you may be traveling with a new love, or you may meet a new love when you're traveling. So you are trying to expand yourself, perhaps the way you relate. And there could be issues of pushing boundaries in this new connection, good or bad. So you may need to try something new. Your advice card is chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. So you may be exploring how you feel, your compatibility, your chemistry with another person.